emerging risks and opportunities will be discussed. And as the Harvard Business Review, I checked on the way what did we write about risks and opportunities recently. We have left our centennial anniversary behind as the Harvard Business Review, and every edition I saw that we have an article on risks, and recently the numbers are increasing further because the paradigm shift is very dense and intensive. You're going through the risks we're going through, the era we're in, and it is integrated with the spirit and the context of where we're in, to be able to analyze the risks well, to avoid this, to take measures, and to be able to measure them when the time comes is very critical. And there's a reality about these risks. The likelihood of taking place is relatively low and the dimensions are low. If this is the case, people and institutions overlook this, or they tend not to allocate resources, or they don't feel sufficient in being prepared for this and or allocating resources. The Global Risks Report, I can picture it in my mind. In 2019, there's a quadrant, the effect it can cause and the likelihood of taking place. You know, on the right top many, right bottom many, but in the left top, if it happens, it's going to cause a great effect. And there's a global pandemic was estimated. Very was it the black swan? We couldn't have expected, they say, but the cost was very high, but the likelihood was very low. And 2 years ago, it was there as the black swan. But the likelihood of that taking place was relatively low, and it would have required huge, immense resources, and that's why we neglected it.
So 1950s, 60s was a sort of a way out. Everything accelerated so fast. Between 60s, 80s, it was sort of a struggle, Cold War and challenges and tensions. And 80s and 2000, it was the period of markets. The companies, the markets shaped everything. And we said that, well, probably we won't have any war. It's all technological and economical. And then it was not. It turned out to be not true. And now, starting from the mid-2000s and with 2020s, we are in a new era, and there is no name. Maybe going retrospectively looking back, like 20, 30 years back, we might give it a name. But it's sort of an interim, in between, a year of in between. That is why the topic today, the risks, have to be very carefully addressed, and compliance and ethics are the main sea lights and should be the main lights of the guiding lights of the companies, because the old formulas don't seem to work.
Because we are a group of companies operating in international arena, in order to manage the international stakeholder expectations, the compliance program also was shaped in line with the international regulations in 2023. So we published the Çalık Holding Program, International Bribery, Corruptions, sanctions, gifts, and sponsorships, donations. All the code of ethics rules were regulated by policies that we have implemented, and right now we are giving the training courses for them. And there were many important memberships that we became a part of. TEID is one of them, and they have had very valuable supports in ensuring that our program of ethics were implemented, and we took into account the benchmarking activities. We signed Global Compact, TKYD, and in order to measure this code of ethics, as Mr. Atilla said, first, effective and implementable code of conduct was necessary. So for compliance program, so a cut and paste program won't be compatible with your culture, with your activities. And we have delivered presentations on our senior management, and compliance officers. So the employees and the stakeholders being included in the process was important. Of course, it's a challenging issue to include the stakeholders in the process, but our code of ethics was adopted and embraced by them, and they have delivered pledges, which is important in terms of managing the third-party risks.
Reputation brings forward the performance. When you look at the listed international companies, the ones with high reputation are at the top. And in terms of the perspective of the companies, you need to work with the industry leaders as suppliers, investing a lot. And in terms of access to finance and credit, again, it is going to bring forward some privileges. It is going to ensure customer satisfaction. But more important than anything, our workforce, our biggest capital, our employees, loyalty and engagement are going to be ensured by that.
In 2021, the World Meteorology Organization has published a report, and there are three important outputs. And in the last 5 decades, the frequency of natural disasters have increased by 5 times. 115 people die every day due to natural disasters, and the daily damages inflicted are over $220 million by disasters. This is a study by E.ON. As everyone knows, it's one of the insurance brokers. In 2023, climate change-related damages have exceeded $300 billion. And Swiss Train has conducted an estimate study. By 2050, there will be trillions of dollars of damages. Their estimate is $23 trillion, and this is much above the GNDP of many strong companies. This is always discussed. Why is sustainability discussed so much, and what makes it so important? Here you are, these are the figures that make it important. We said we're going to internalize them and we're going to make them a part of the company life. The minute we say this, then we will be able to survive in this setting and to advance ourselves further.
ESG, where is it located in this risk environment? It is very easily, I can say, at the very heart, because United Nations have announced 17 SDGs, and when you look at why they're constructed, you see the answer: elimination of poverty, a more peaceful life, and protection of planet. This is the target. So in the first cycle, I've talked about the World Economic Forum report. They have looked at 32 risks, and when you try to accomplish all those, you address all of those 37 risks, and you create action plans for that. Therefore, ESG is at the very heart, and ESG and risk. And I think that needs to change. This needs to be internalized. In terms of all the business practices, it has to be a part. All these topics of sustainability, and those who fail to do so, we have talked about the benefits, so cheap financing, access, attracting great employees, the customers, attracting the clients or customers to our company. And if we don't establish ESG principles, it's going to be a matter of survival for the companies.